Hi guys, how are you guys today? I hope everyone is doing well. I am a bit frustrated. I've been trying to work. I'm not really a computer guru. I don't even really like being on my phone and computers, but I just do it because you have to use that to function, right? And so today I am trying to make quite a few videos because they all kind of entail the same type of thing and I'm using the same sources and I needed to make some things anyway to put in the freezer and whatever. It was just been a really long day. And it's been a little more challenging for me because I am a multitasker and I usually do 4 to 5 things at one time. And the other day I fell and, well, I didn't even fall. I hit my head, which caused me to fall. And my brain has not been working at the appropriate speed since then. Okay, there we go. It is what it is. That's how it is. It's getting better. I feel better. The first day that it happened, I had a hard time with my with my speech itself. Like everything was taking so long, but it's like to a point that I have a hard time like multitasking things. And it makes me almost like mad at myself, like I can't multitask. And it's frustrating. Anyway, today we're talking about food storage. So, by the end of this video, I am going to talk to you about 5 easy meals that you can put together for your food storage to get started. So, I started food storage years ago. I grew up fairly poor, and I don't want to like say like negative things or anything like that, but I grew up fairly poor. But it was really weird because like my family that was around me wasn't very good at like making big things or making things to stretch. And I didn't really understand everything. And I'm so thankful that I do. And I understand like a lot of it is like knowledge that people don't necessarily have. Like if you're buying like name brand pretzels and having like meat sandwiches, but you can only have like one slice of meat, or if you're having like you have enough for tacos, but you only have like enough that everyone can have one taco. Like I would rather use that food and stretch it out big. And that's what my plan is for our family. I never want to see my kids go hungry. I always want them to have enough food. And they do. They always have enough food. So that is why I started my journey into food storage originally. Sorry. So last time I took this video, I was able to get it all done in 29 minutes. My computer will allow me 30 minutes of like doing anything. So I was really like proud of myself. I got everything that I wanted to say out in one thing and whatever. But now we're looking at 2 o'clock, which is when my kids like wake up from nap, but they never really actually nap. So they just have a quiet time where they lay down. I wish somebody napped. Even the baby doesn't even nap. She'll nap on you for maybe 15 minutes and then that's good for her. She's good. So, and no, she doesn't sleep through the night. She doesn't even think about sleeping through the night. She probably wakes up like 8 to 10 times a night. So, if I look like tired and I have like big circles around my eyes, you know why. I have one baby who wakes up 10 times a night to nurse, and then I have another one who is 2 that often wakes up once or twice. So, what I want to talk to you about today is food storage. So, I knew that I never wanted my family to go hungry. I never wanted my kids to go hungry. I wanted there to always be enough food. I didn't know how to cook when I was first married. I knew how to make, chicken nuggets. And what are those called? They're like circles, but it's like a chicken nugget. And you put it on like bread, like chicken patties. There we go. I knew how to make chicken patties. I knew how to put a frozen lasagna in the oven. I knew how to do those types of things. And in the beginning, I was 18 when I had my first child, and in the beginning, that was good meals. I lived with some people during my late teen years, and it was kind of like a community of people, and we were all like really poor. And in that community, I did learn the art of taking little bits and stretching it. They used rice a lot to stretch these meals into big nutritious meals. And I just feel blessed that even though it was a really hard time in my life, that the Lord like still through that. I wasn't a Christian, but the Lord through that showed me how to stretch meals out. And I feel so grateful for that. And I want to teach you guys some of those things because I know it's not a skill that just gets taught generation to generation anymore. And I think that's sad that our society hasn't, like, my kids are blessed by being able to have that, to be able to take it year by year. Like they have that knowledge and they can just build on that knowledge, where a lot of people don't have that knowledge. So I started to look, research, and that type of stuff about food storage. And I didn't even know that was a word back then, probably about 10 years ago. And I started to look at books. I got a book that was called Food Storage Made Easy, which got me into researching different like Mormon groups because she was a Mormon. And there was a video. I don't know if it's still available, but a video probably 5, 6, I don't know how many years ago, by, I think her name was Wendy Dewitt or something like that. And it was like on food storage. And it really changed my life and it really helped me and blessed me to know what to do and how to do it. So I'm going to go over here today how I personally got started to build my food storage, because most people only have a 3-day supply of food in their house. And most of the time, if there's a storm or something, everyone just runs to the store and needs to get food in order to make it through that storm. Well, there's storms in life. There's storms all the time in life. And because of those storms, we need to be prepared. There's storms. My husband one day, his boss came in and he said, "I'm really sorry, but our whole department was just outsourced." And my husband just stood there and he came home. And I was so thankful at that time that I had already prepared and been prepared and had a food storage, because that was one less thing that we had to worry about. Again, like this year, my son, so my husband, we live in a very rural area, and my husband became my son's nurse, and I became my son's nurse, because there's no actual, so my son was a quadriplegic. And normally, if you live like in a city type area, then you can have nursing help come into your house to help take care of the basic tasks of a child that has, is a paraplegic or quadriplegic or has those types of things. We do not have that in our area. Because of that, they will hire a parent on, as long as they've had basic training, as in like CPR and that type of stuff. And so we both have been trained in that area. My husband had current certification. They didn't really care if it was a current certification for me, because I was like the secondary type person. He qualified. State nurse comes out and gives how many hours are qualified. He qualified for over 40 hours. It was like 70 hours a week or something like that. This past year, that's what we were doing, is we were doing about 70 hours a week. Obviously, we weren't doing 70 hours a week because we were with him 24/7, because he was our son and we just take care of him no matter what. So, you don't count the middle of the night. Oh, I need to roll over. I need a glass of water. I need whatever. You're just always there for your child. And we would have done it whether we were getting paid for it or not. It just would have been that my husband would have worked, and he did work for most of the time. He was off work and just working for Bobby for the past 2 years. And that was mainly because two reasons. One, the state was saying that he needed to have all these hours, and it was hard for him to work a full-time job um and be having those hours. And a lot of things were like a two-person job at that point. Like there really should have been like two people, like if he was taking a shower and those types of things, so to be available when that was going on. So when he died, we both lost our jobs. We lost our income. It took about 2.5 months for my husband to get unemployment. It took me, I was pregnant. So he died in February. I was pregnant and due in April. And I did not get my first unemployment until the end of June. So it took that whole time for me to even get unemployment. Thankfully, my husband got it a little bit sooner, but we had that food cushion. We already had things in place. And those are the types of emergencies that I want you to think about first. I know some people are thinking like, oh, What if the economy collapses? What if there's like a huge, hurricane? What if, we lose power because the national grid goes down, it's overloaded, or, whatever. There's winter storms and the grid goes out for a week or whatever. Like, thinking of all those things are great, but I want you to think too about just everyday emergencies that happen in families all the time. People lose jobs, people get hurt and they're disabled, and it takes a long time before they can get their disability. Workman's comp takes a long time to kick in. I want moms and dads to be prepared so that they're able to handle their family's emergencies. And so I wanted to show you what I did to get started, and I hope it blesses you. So, what I did to get started was I planned meals. So, I decided on a few meals that our family liked and would eat on a consistent basis. I thought that I had those meals written down, but I didn't. I know that I did. I started with 7, but I knew that I wanted to get up to 14 because we like more of a change. So I did 7 to start, and then I added on to get to 14. So today we're going to go over 5 meals, but I am going to do additional videos with other easy shelf-stable meals. So the first meal that I have that is shelf stable, mind you, these are things that I home canned, but you can very easily um, buy these at the grocery store. So this is beef. This is beef chunks. They do have beef chunks at most stores, or you can also get like dehydrated beef chunks from like Artisan Farms on Amazon. And then I have spaghetti sauce. And then I have, for us, we're gluten-free. So I have gluten-free pasta. You can use regular pasta, obviously. So we have, that would be our meal. So for a family of 4, this would probably, I'm not quite sure how many people eat whatever. I'm saying a family of 4. So if you were a family of 4 and you wanted to have a meal, say you're going to have this once a week, you would want to do it times 52. So you'd want 52 spaghetti sauces. They don't have to be home canned. You can get them from the grocery store. You need 52 sauces. You would need 52 hamburgers. If you're going to do that, you could just do sauce and pasta. And then I said hamburgers. You can do beef stew type chunks too. Beef chunks, I think they're called. And then you'd want a pound of pasta. So you want 52 of each of those if you're going to do it once a week. If you plan on doing like I did, I planned on setting it out so I had 2 weeks of various meals, then you'd only need to do 26. Now, I'm going to go over just a little bit of math here, and hopefully your brain doesn't go twirly. So if you were a single person, just one person, you would want to break this down by quarters. So you would have, say, a bag of the pasta, and this would probably give you 4 meals. So you're going to cut this bag in half, 4. So if you're going to do this for once a week, you're going to cut your amount down. So you would take the 52, then you'd cut that into a quarter, which would be, let's see, 13, roughly 7, because it's actually half of 13 would be 6.5, but I would just round up to 7. So you want 7 bags of the pasta. Now, you're not going to want a huge spaghetti sauce, because if you're planning for all different scenarios, you're not going to have refrigeration. So there's smaller jars of either pizza sauce or just plain sauce that you can purchase, and you'd be able to purchase one of those for each time that you would want to have it. Same with the beef chunks. Get the smaller things and then buy 52 of them if you're doing them for the year, but make sure you cut back how much you're going to do for the pasta, because you can very easily rebag pasta. Things that you cannot rebag, try to get in smaller portions so that you're able to make that worth it. or make it last, because if you opened a spaghetti sauce jar, then you wouldn't be able to have a way to freeze or anything of the spaghetti sauce there. Okay. Oh, so big families like us, we actually, I know what we eat. So we are 14 people eating on a consistent basis. We would have 3 pounds of pasta. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. 3 pounds of pasta, 3 jars of sauce, and 3 quarts of meat. So when I'm doing it, if I was going to eat this for 52 weeks in a year, then I would do 52 times 3 on each of my things, which would be 156. So I would need 156 bags of noodles. So if you see me at the grocery store and I'm buying 6 bags of noodles, please know it's only 2 meals. Okay. I get that thing, like, people think that I'm a food hoarder if I buy like 6 bags of pasta. It's like, it's 2 meals, people, 2 meals. Okay. So anyhow, I would need 156 bags of pasta in order to do it once a week for a year. Pasta sauce, same thing. Another thing is if you're gardening, you'll know how much you're going to need. If you have this kind of planned out, you'll know how much you're going to need of spaghetti sauce for the year. So I know I'm going to need to can for this meal 156 quarts if I'm having it once a week. And that also allows you, if you're having a bad week, a bad year, and you don't get that much spaghetti sauce, it's like, okay, I need to reevaluate so I know either I'm buying more at the store or I'm going to figure out a different meal. So that is the first meal. The second meal, I actually am going to link down in the description box below because I just made this morning and we made a video with it. So it's beef stew. So you have beef. I am back yet again. So craziness. I was sitting here doing the video and from my seat, I can see the road and somebody started to slow down. And then somebody pulled in the driveway because we live in a small community. So lots of people know each other, and somebody that we knew pulled up and he's like, "You have pigs, right?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Yeah, they're in the middle of the road." So we went and chased pigs. Anyhow, I was ready to shoot the male, but then it didn't end up. He ended up like listening and going where we wanted to go. But females usually will go with a bucket. Like if you have a bucket, you could just kind of walk along with them and whatever. And males, they're like, "Oh, there's females in a different area. Let me go to this area. I can't figure out how to get in." Anyway, so that was the last couple minutes. And then we fed Missy, who was asleep. This is going to be one of her probably 15-minute cat naps today. If I put her down, she'll wake right up. Okay. I'm not quite sure where I was at. I don't want to go watch all the movies, but I think that I'm at beef stew. So I'm going to try this. So we have the beef. We have potatoes. We have carrots. We have green beans. Now, all of these could be store-bought things. If you're canning, you do not always have to can things that you grow. Before I started growing things, I would actually go to farmers markets, or I would go to the grocery store when things were really cheap, and I would pick them up and can them. And even like with fruits, like a lot of times we used to have, this year definitely not, but before then I could get peaches for 98 cents a pound, and I would get like 4 cases each, like 22 to 25 pounds. I would get like 4 cases of those. And sometimes I could get like organic peaches for like $2.25 a pound. And the cheapest that I could find for regular peaches this year were $1.98. So I had enough canned, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll see about next year, but I have enough to make it through this year, and we should be good. Okay, so that is the second meal. So our first meal was a pasta dish with and then this is a beef stew, and then this next one this is like a cold salad. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pasta and you're going to cook your pasta, and Then rinse it with some cold water and throw it in a bowl. And then you're going to drain the peas and put those in, and drain 2 cans of tuna and put that in, and then add some mayonnaise, and I like Abdoo because it's a good all-around seasoning. It has sea salt, garlic, onion, pepper, black pepper, oregano, bay leaf, and turmeric all in one jar. And then salt. We need salt. So this Himalayan salt is at Dollar Tree for only $1.25, and it's a pound. That's the best price that I have seen around. So you mix that all together and you have a nice cold salad. That cold salad brings me to a point of this. So when you are eating, and if you're in an emergency type situation, you want to plan your meals so that you basically have 2 meals during the day, so that you can eat the same meal and things aren't going bad. Because if you don't have refrigeration and you make something, it's not going to last till the next day. If you made dinner at dinner time and you had leftovers, it wouldn't make it to the next day. But if you have your meal at lunchtime and then you leave that out until supper time and then you ate that, that would be perfectly fine. You eat it up and you use your stuff. That's actually normally how we eat on a daily basis, is we have a big meal at lunch and then we have whatever at supper time. My husband is not home for either meal, so it doesn't really matter either way for our family. That said, when he did work, and we've done it differently throughout the years. If he was home for lunch, I try to make my big meal for lunch. I try to make it so like he would have like the first meal, if at all possible. You can always like make the meal at supper time, and where we have refrigeration now, then you would put that over until lunchtime. But if you're in an emergency situation, most likely you're going to be cooking that and then eating that later. Okay, so I'm gonna, I think, pick you guys up and bring you over here. So, below this chair. Then, okay, I keep my beans in containers like this here. And so I have over here adzuki beans. I don't know if you know what adzuki beans are or not. You can also do any other red bean. So these are adzuki beans. Sometimes I dump them in there. Sometimes I just have them in a bag like that. So we have adzuki beans. You could use kidney beans. You could use pinto beans, whatever kind of bean you want. So this is what we call red rice and beans. So I would cook my beans in my favorite method, and then I would cook 1 pound for our family. And then I would cook 2 pounds of, no, I would cook 2 pounds of red beans, and then I would cook 2 pounds of rice, whatever way you want to. And then I would add, once the beans were cooked, I would add 2 quarts of salsa. It can be home canned, it can be store-bought, whatever kind of salsa you want. So you'd add that to the beans and you'd stir it, and then you'd serve it over rice, and then you have red rice and beans. It's really good. We usually serve that with applesauce, and it comes out really good. The other bean meal that I have is for chili. So I'm going to link below what I normally do for chili. This is another way to do chili. So you'd cook your beans. I have right here 15 bean soup. So our chili recipe calls for 3 different types of beans, but you can also use this 15 bean soup and that would work out fine. So you're going to cook about 4.5 cups of beans up, and then to that you're going to add either burger or roast or some type of meat to it. You can add chicken if you wanted to as well. I'm going to add corn. You don't have to add corn. I would add corn, and then I would add 2 jars of salsa. And that would, and I needed a teaspoon of chili powder. My daughter actually made the video for the chili while I made this first video. So I had the chili powder out here and I had the salt right here, but then the first video of this messed up. So We didn't, so I didn't bring it back in because she ended up using it for the meal. So you would want a teaspoon of chili powder and a teaspoon of salt. So that would make your chili. So our 5 meals were, let's see, there would have been the chili, red rice and beans. Those are 2 bean meals. Then we have the tuna noodle pasta. Then we have, which is a cold salad. Then we have the beef stew, which I'll link below. And then we would have the spaghetti meal. So it's 5 different meals that are all shelf stable, all things that you could purchase through. You could purchase those things through Amazon. You could go to Walmart, whatever, you'd be able to get those types of things so that you'd have some shelf stable meals. So if you have any questions, just ask them below and I can answer in another video. I want to do a couple more meal videos that go over different meals that you could also do. I'm always looking for new ones. So if you have a favorite, link that down or say that down below as well because I'd love to try out some new meals. So it was nice being with y'all today, and hopefully we won't have any more pigs out. And I hope you have a blessed day. Bye. If you want to see other videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks.